Hello and welcome to the penultimate episode of the Benchwarmers. And what better way to nearly wrap up the series by talking about F1 again? Because there's been quite a few rumours and there's been a lot of transfers going on, some big transfers, especially within my team this past few weeks. And obviously Japan's just around the corner. So Harrison, do you want to start us off? What's been happening? Because I know, but do you know what's been going on in F1 this week?
Of course I do, Matt. It's all about Red Bull, isn't it, this week? Liam Lawson, he got his dream job in Red Bull, and he's sort of been demoted, hasn't he, back to the B team, let's say. And then Yuki Tsunoda has joined in with Max Verstappen being his little number two now. What do you think? Just give me your first thoughts on that whole situation, Matt.
First thoughts, right? Bit ridiculous. Maybe a bit early, but at the same time, Lawson was kind of stinky.
A little bit early. 2 races in the whole season.
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
two races is a bit ridiculous, especially when you consider we've had, Albon. He was there for a season and a half. Gasly was there for half a season, and they all got at least a couple races to see if they were worth it. But Lawson, we slapped him in. He got no points, finished basically last in both races. DNF'd in one of them, so he didn't even finish, and he's already been sacked, given the boot. And Yuki has now overtaken him and got the seat he's always wanted. And quite frankly, he probably should have deserved at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, so is it a case of Red Bull sort of chose the wrong driver at the beginning of the season? They should have chose Yuki straight away.
Yes, I think everyone on the planet will agree with you.
Yeah? Okay then. So for me, it's a bit frustrating for Liam Lawson's side, just because he's had 2 races at the start of the season. Like, come on, that is not enough. You should at least get at least 10 races minimum, at least. Okay, yes, he did disqualify in one of the races, but give him a chance. Give him, it's always gonna be difficult to sort of catch up with Max Verstappen. Everybody in the whole league is gonna struggle to keep up with his sort of driving style, isn't he? He's got a very unique driving style, and not a lot of people are gonna compete with him.
Yeah, no, but like you were saying, I think it's not excusable for Liam because he has raced like a few times, like I think 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's still not enough, though, is it?
9 races with the AlphaTauri. No, it's not enough, but it's still experience, and you still know how to drive a car properly. But like you're saying, that Red Bull car, I think everyone on this planet is now aware that it is solely built for Max Verstappen's driving style. It's very loose, it's very wobbly, and it's very on the edge all the time. So putting a rookie like Lawson in, it's nowhere near going to suit his driving style at all, especially when you got Max, who's always pushing for, tune it this little bit more so I can get this little bit more pace out of it. And Lawson's always like steps behind, still trying to figure out the car like fully.
Yeah.
And that's just not going to happen in 2 races.
For me, there's a massive difference between driving in the Red Bull B team and making that move to Red Bull itself. Max Verstappen is one of the best drivers in the league, and he has been for the last 4 or 5 years now. So you've got to say it's going to be very difficult to compete with him, and it is unlucky that he's sort of been kicked out of the team so early on, because he has got a lot of potential, hasn't he, Matt? Liam Lawson.
I mean, he was doing perfectly fine in VCARB. He was performing well. He did score a couple points. But I think Yuki still outperformed him from the majority of it. That's why people were saying Yuki needs the seat more than Liam. And I think that's why, looking into Japan this weekend, more people care that Yuki has got the seat than the fact that Liam has been sacked and moved back down. But, like you were saying, Lawson, he didn't perform. And at the end of the day, right, if you don't perform in Red Bull, you will get dropped. And I think, just like everyone thought, it's a bit too early.
So how long has Yuki been in the F1 for then?
Yuki's been in it since 2021, so he's already had 4 years' experience.
So he's had 4 years' experience. In that time, how many races has he won? How many podiums has he got?
None.
He's got none.
None.
So he's sort of level with Liam Lawson in that sense. Is there? Could you suggest maybe does he deserve the seat? If he's won no races.
Yeah, but that's what everyone was arguing. Yeah, but there's a lot of people who haven't won races.
Yeah.
I think there's a stat out there. It's like 30% of all drivers. So actually, no, it wasn't 30%. It's like 30-ish drivers out of a whole 780 have only won races, or like 8 or more races.
Oh, okay.
So if you think how many people have raced in the sport as a whole, and then compare it to how many have actually won a race, I think you can't take that into account when saying, oh yeah, does he deserve the seat or not? Yuki has performed reasonably well. I think he has deserved the seat the past 2 years compared to Lawson and whoever else Red Bull had as a candidate. But you know, saying it with Liam, again, he shouldn't have got the seat to begin with. You know, Yuki should have had that seat since Australia instead of coming in 2 weeks later. I think that's just a waste of everyone's time, really, trying to put effort into Liam when you're just going to sack him 2 races later.
Yeah.
It's a bit of waste of money, and, you know, it's going to hurt Liam more than it's going to hurt Red Bull, because, you know, his confidence is going to be way, way down now.
So just to end off the Liam Lawson chat, what's next for Liam Lawson? Where do you think he'll go? Will he go back to VCARB? How do you think he'll do for the rest of the season?
Well, he's already back at VCARB.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine there, I'll be honest. I think if he gets another year or two on the VCARB, to be fair, get his foot in, show that he actually deserves to be in the sport, I think he'll be fine. And especially with this whole rumour, you know, Max going to Mercedes, George going somewhere else, that Red Bull seat will be open potentially for 2026. So if he can do well at VCARB, he might get a chance to go back, especially with the new regulations coming in. That Red Bull car, if Max goes, that Red Bull car will be built from the ground up again. It won't have Max's driving style. It will be whoever is the new number one. Or, you know, they might actually make an equal car for once, so both drivers can perform well.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to go about it. Is there a world where he actually doesn't go back to Red Bull ever again? Maybe moves to a different team.
Yes, I mean let's be honest. That's the same with every driver, right?
Yeah.
Hamilton, you never thought he'd leave Mercedes,
Of course.
but he's gone to Ferrari. Who knows? He might go back to Mercedes if he wants to.
Okay.
There's no ruling that out.
Yeah.
You know, Charles Leclerc, he might decide, oh yeah, let me go to Red Bull for maybe a couple seasons.
It's all if and maybes, isn't it?
It's all hypotheticals and,
yeah.
you know, what ifs and all that.
Of course.
But it's not impossible.
Okay then, Yuki Tsunoda. Where do you think he'll finish in the first race of the season in Japan?
12.
12? I was thinking 12.
I was thinking of fat 12. Let's be honest.
Yeah, middle of the pack sort of thing.
Let's be honest, right? He's never driven that Red Bull other than one time in testing, and you know he's gonna have to struggle the same thing Liam did. He's gonna have to figure out, right, how do I drive this car? Because let's be honest, it's not suited to me at all. He's gonna have what, 3 practice sessions, and a qualifying to get used to the car before he goes into a race. He'll be lucky if he gets points.
Yeah, that's a massive factor for me. He hasn't had like a pre-season sort of racing. He hasn't got used to the car, has he? So like, he's not going to get used to it with 1 or 2 practices, is he?
No, I mean, it'd be good for him if he gets a points finish. I think a lot more people would be expecting him to get a points finish than not. And you know, he's said himself he wants to be on the podium for Japan because obviously that's his home race. But
might be a little bit too optimistic.
Bit too optimistic considering the fact you got Oscar Piastri, you've got Norris in the McLarens, you've got Max who is very strong at Japan, and you've got Russell, you've got Antonelli, you've got Charles Leclerc. Well, actually, I would say Ferrari, but they've been fumbling the bag recently.
Yeah,
so
they haven't really done.
But even still, you got 5-ish drivers who are more likely to get on the podium than you are. So if you get on the podium, round of applause to you. You know, kudos.
That'd be absolutely insane.
It would be insane.
Dream start for Yuki Tsunoda, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but then it would just be so typical of him to be like, oh yeah, I've got a podium on this race, and then I'm just not going to perform the rest of the season.
Could you imagine? That'd be so funny. But yeah, for me, you know, finishing 12 it's pretty good, pretty decent. And then how do you think he'll do overall in the rest of the season?
Standing wise or just in general?
Just in general. Let's go general first and then do standing afterwards.
General, I don't think he's going to perform until maybe halfway through the season. I think he's going to have similar start to Lawson, I'll be honest, because you know, as you said, they both have similar stats. They weren't that far away from each other when they were competing for the seat in the first place. All Yuki has, he's got more experience in the sport. That's about it. But you know, Yuki has been in the Red Bull driver program for a while now. I think he's been there since F2, F3. So he's going to know the ins and outs of the team to some extent, and he's going to know what he wants from the car, and he's going to know what they want from him. So it's just whether or not he can get on the ground running quickly or not.
Okay.
And for my opinion, I don't think he's going to get there straight away. He will take at least 3-4 races to do it.
Yeah, I think he might struggle, to be honest. I don't think he's going to, you know, hit the ground running in that sort of sense. But here's a question for you then, just quickly. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but why haven't Red Bull gone out and signed somebody, you know, a little bit more experienced, sort of like a Carlos Sainz, for example?
We tried.
You tried.
We tried. Trust me, we tried.
Yeah.
Before Lawson even was considered for the seat, we tried going to get Albon again.
Okay.
Because after we tried to get Sainz failed. We didn't pursue him any further. We went to Albon, who obviously has driven for us before, and he got a podium or two. So he declined as well. Actually, to be fair,
They both declined.
they both declined. I don't know
Couldn't
why
you-
though.
Couldn't you have gone in with like a second bid, or for example, and just like I don't know, like, put some more money down? I don't know, something like that, in that sort of sense, and
I
get them over
reckon.
the line, because from the looks of things, it doesn't look like a good idea at the moment, does it?
Well, to sign Albon, yes, it does.
No, I'm just saying with Liam Lawson, that doesn't look like a good idea.
Yeah, but if we really wanted Albon, right, we would have pushed a little harder. I think we just got the initial no from him, and then thought, no, let's just move on. I think we probably should have pushed a little harder for Albon to join. But same time saying that, Williams is looking a lot faster. And obviously Albon's got
Yeah, they look very impressive.
very good finishes these first two races. So maybe he did make the right decision.
I really want them to get better than Ferrari this season.
I want Williams to be better than McLaren and Ferrari, but I think they'll only get better than Ferrari.
Leave out. You and your like bias towards McLaren is so annoying.
Trust me, I hate Mercedes more than I hate McLaren.
Yeah, but you only hate Mercedes because of Hamilton and how good he
No,
is. Hamilton is the goat. Okay.
No, I hated Mercedes even.
What, before him?
No, because it wasn't before him.
Oh.
Hamilton was there the entire time.
Oh.
But even without Hamilton, I still don't like
Bad knowledge,
Mercedes.
yeah, bad knowledge.
Mm.
So what are you thinking then, Matt? Okay, so with Ferrari, just quickly, Hamilton. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Matt, can you move over? You move over the conversation. So I'm waffling now. Go on.
Oh, we got a waffler.
Yeah.
But we were just talking, right? Yuki in the race against Japan. You thought I said he was going to get podium. We don't agree. But other teams, what do we think they're going to do?
Okay, so other teams then. I feel like could McLaren get a third win in the third win in a row?
I mean, you're going to have to say yeah, aren't you?
I would like to say yeah.
They have the fastest car. They have the fastest driver plus Norris.
Yeah.
So, I reckon Piastri has a chance to win it again.
But then there's also Mercedes. I reckon they could challenge this time. George Russell, he's got two podium finishes, I'm pretty sure. So he could do. He could get a
Speaking
win.
of which, how has George Russell got 2 podiums this season? I swear he hasn't been covered this entire time.
I think he's sort of just gone under the radar, hasn't he? You sort of focus on the other teams: Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari. Focus on all those other teams, and Mercedes have just gone under the radar and done very well.
Yeah,
so
they
far.
are. They are performing better than what they were with Hamilton. And, Ferrari, they're now in the gutter. Which brings joy to me, because, I've never been a Hamilton fan. I'll be happily to admit that. And, there's going to be so many Team LH fans who are going to cut my throat or whatever.
Me included.
You included, but
Won't
you're
go
not even
that
a
far.
Hamilton
Won't
fan.
go that far, but
But no, I've never been a fan of Hamilton. I can respect that he is probably second best in the sport
First
behind
best.
Schumacher. No,
First.
let's be honest, Schumacher was better. The stats for Hamilton just say he's won more. But he's now gone to Ferrari and they are rubbish.
they're
I'm
stinking
sorry,
it
they
up.
are stinking it up
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah. I reckon they'll turn things around. Obviously, they've got two massive, in their own rights, right? They're both number one drivers in their own rights. So I feel like maybe there might be a little bit of like an ego clash just to begin with. Who knows? But at the same time, I think they'll get their act together. Like maybe like 5-6 races into the season. Hopefully, they'll start turning it around, get some more podium finishes and whatnot. Because they haven't done awful. They have challenged.
Yes, they have done awful. They've
no.
double disqualified and they had 9th and 10th.
Have they?
Yeah.
Didn't they get like 4th or 5th ones?
Yeah, which is when they got disqualified, both of
Oh,
them.
so that like they got 4th and 5th. They got disqualified. They're still for the majority of the race. They're still half decent. Okay, unless they did disqualify. That's right at the end. That's a little bit unfortunate. You can't really count that, can you?
But it's because of what Ferrari did and because of what they did during the race that got them disqualified.
I reckon things will come good. I reckon it will.
Dream scenario, they both crash at Japan. And, Yuki gets into the top 5 or something.
So are you just hating on Charles Leclerc just because Hamilton's there?
No, I still like Charles.
Okay.
I think Charles is good.
Okay. So then, what do we think about? So you're not really rating Ferrari. You like
They're not going to
McLaren.
get top 3 this season in the constructors.
You like McLaren.
No,
What you saying they're going to
I
win?
like Piastri.
You're saying McLaren are going to win, so you must like them a little bit.
I don't like
You must
them.
rate them a
I
little
don't like
bit.
them. I'm
You must respect
being reasonable because they have the fastest car. Everyone knows they have the fastest car. If
car
they
on the
don't,
grid,
if they don't win, that's their
Best
own
drivers.
problem.
best drivers this
They
season.
do not have the best drivers.
Best drivers. It's just Max Verstappen, isn't it? He's like, obviously he's the GOAT, but unfortunately he just plays for. He starts for Red Bull.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think I read something the other day. Someone was saying if Max Verstappen wasn't in that Red Bull, we'd be a midfield or bottom tier team. We are that slow with the car this year. I think even the VCARB is a faster car than what we have this year.
I think there's definitely an argument where I would agree, because, without Max Verstappen, you are finishing like, I don't know, P10, P11
We'd be
maybe?
last in the standings if we didn't have Max Verstappen.
Yeah, because at that point you basically got the two VCARB drivers, haven't you?
Mm.
So it's a little bit embarrassing for you guys.
Yeah,
Is
I mean,
this the start of the downfall for Red Bull?
it probably is. Let's be honest. I mean, going into new regulations, someone else will take control. Yeah, and especially with Cadillac, Audi coming in, one of them could be instantly hitting the ground running and winning everything.
Yeah, I think the easy choice at the moment is just to say McLaren. They've got a well balanced team. Obviously, at the moment it looks like they've got the best car on the grid. So I feel like McLaren could easily take over Red Bull in that number one team.
It just
at the
depends. It
moment.
just depends on how they change their car for next year.
Yeah, I feel like if they can get back to back constructors championships, that'll be a very good season for McLaren.
Yeah, but I'm hoping they don't. I hope we get another 4 years under our belt. But Max Verstappen leaving to Mercedes probably, or retiring, or whatever. I think we're going to be struggling for the next few years. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be a battle between McLaren and Mercedes. To be honest with you,
I'm going to go rogue. I'm going to say Aston Martin's going to get there.
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin's going to be a top running team next year.
Next year, if they get a better driver than
Not
Stroll,
Stroll, yeah.
yeah, if they get a better driver than Stroll, they might have a chance. But Alonso isn't getting any younger,
No,
So-
that's true.
so who knows?
Honestly,
It could be difficult.
if they can get Verstappen and then maybe another second driver who's really good,
Yeah.
Aston Martin are easily top 3 team.
No, I was thinking, because they got obviously Adrian Newey there now, behind the scenes. I was thinking maybe the car could get a bit better, but I feel like maybe in 1 or 2 years time potentially, but not at the moment, not this season for sure.
No, not this season, but next year, like I said, new regulations.
Yeah.
Adrian Newey's already building the car for next year.
Yeah.
Now, top 3 from Aston Martin.
Okay, that's interesting. So who do they take? What place?
Ferraris.
Ferrari,
Or us.
Red Bull.
I think they might take us.
Could be Red Bull.
Yeah. Anyway, on that sad note, I think we should wrap up the episode. Obviously, being second last one next week is going to be our final one ever.
I'm definitely
Benchwarmers is
not,
vanishing.
I'm definitely not crying inside.
Nah, you're jumping for joy, mate. You
No,
want me
I'm
gone.
Definitely not.
But no, last one ever next week, and then we're finished.
Yeah, but I've got a nice little surprise up my sleeve. So I won't be
Is it
disappeared.
money?
I won't be disappeared too long. You know what I mean?
Is it
off
money
the
for
big
me?
screen.
Do I get a gift? Is that what the surprise is?
No, definitely not. If I don't provide my little brother
See,
a
this guy, man. This
you
is the
won't get a
treat. This is
present.
the treatment I get on the podcast.
I didn't want to end the podcast. That was your decision. Okay.
Not my decision.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well-
yeah,
Okay. Mutual decision.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's it from us today. Obviously, subscribe if you want to, but we're going away anyway soon, so it doesn't really matter. But tune in.
Like, comment, subscribe. No, don't even watch the video anymore.
Exactly. But tune in next week. Obviously, we'll be saying our goodbyes and recapping our best moments from the year and a half we've done this now.
Of course, yeah, we have
We've
to.
done like 60-ish episodes. So
What? It's been really that long.
yeah,
60 episodes.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
it's been a while. But
I'll
yeah,
take that.
see you next week and goodbye.